All right, so we're going to get deeper into doing some mathematics, but before we do that, we need to talk a little bit about documenting code. So we've talked about inline comments. Those are important. Here I am on the Python website, and you'll see there's a file header here. Now this is one that I just pulled off of a script that I wrote. I'm going to just copy that and paste it into my Python file, and you're welcome to do that. I'm going to delete everything out of it, so I don't even need to cite where I got it from. If I kept anything of value, I would need to cite it. And it never hurts to cite things. But in this case, I'm going to delete it all. And basically, I'm going to have a few things in here. This is fun with math. So we need to have a title, and then we need to have a description. Python, and I need to have my name, the author, and typically we would also have the date. Okay, so please include a file header in each one of your scripts. Those are required. It's something that everyone should have in all their scripts, as well as inline comments. It's documentation. It's like if you bought a car or any other device and it didn't come with a manual, you'd be like, wait, what happened? And nowadays, sometimes the manuals aren't included, but you go online and there's a manual. So this is the documentation that goes with your code. So it's very important, not only for other folks if they read your code like me, but also if you walk away from your code and then a year later you come back, which I've done a lot, trust me, you'll really value that you put comments in there, and you'll spend less time staring at your code going, why did I do this and how does this work? Okay, so it'll really help you out in the long run. Now, what we want to do is do some random stuff, and I'll be bouncing back and forth between the website and Python so that I follow along with the content on the web. Now I'm down to 1.2.4 in generating random numbers, but I am going to slide that out of the recording area and off to one side. As I mentioned earlier, you're welcome to use the website and the videos, or both. If you struggle, I definitely use both, and there's lots of other resources for you to use. So before I do some work with random numbers, I need to import a library. To import a library, we just type import, and notice that down here you see random in there. That's because random is one of the libraries that is already included with Python. In other words, there's functions that come with Python like print. We didn't have to import anything to use print. It's already built in. And then there's standard libraries that come with it. When you install it, they come with it, like random and some other ones we use. And then there's thousands of libraries you can download off the web, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, so now I have random, and now if I want to do a little gambling, I can say random.uniform, and this will create a uniform distribution from 1 to 6, and then we'll go ahead and print dice 1, and if we run that, oh yeah, after saving it, where's Jim's desktop? Desktop 318, so much stuff. Okay, we get a random number, but notice that it's a floating point number, right? That's not what we'd normally see on a dice. So what we want to do is we want to make that into an integer number, or get rid of all that stuff after the decimal. That's very easy to do with another built-in function called int, which stands for integer. And if we run that, okay, now we get 2, yay! And of course, if we want to see what that is doing step by step, which I recommend, we can put in a breakpoint, single step, dice 1, there's our number, 4.22 something. When we call int, we pass it the value dice, so it'll take this value, send it into this function, then this function will return back a new value, and that will be stored in dice 1, or the value 4. And then print will send that to debug.io. And don't worry, I will stop talking like this fairly soon, but I want you to get used to thinking the way a computer does. Okay, that's it. That's all we have to do that. And if we change this value, okay, we will get a different set of random numbers. There's an 87, so a value between 1 and 100. But for this exercise, we want to get 1 to 6. All right, now we're getting random numbers. They don't always look really random. Okay, now we actually want to get 2 because we want to get 2 dice, right? Oh wait, that's right. One of the things I forgot, good thing to follow along the web, is this number here is kind of a problem, right? Because this will be a number between 1 and 6, which means it'll go to like 5.99999, but it won't actually give us a 6. That's a problem. We don't want to put a 7 there because it might actually give us a 7, right? But it's going to be really rare that it gives us a 6 because it's just this one value. So what we need to do is 6.9999999. Okay, so that'll give us something from 1 to 6.99999. In other words, that'll make the chance of us getting a 6 the same as us getting a 1 or 2, 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, so now we should get 6s once in a while. Well, eventually, we should see a 6. Should happen 1 in 6 times. There it is. Okay, it's random, so it doesn't always happen the way we expect. Then we want to do this twice. Okay, so we have dice 1 and dice 2. Now notice all I did was copy and paste. I do a lot of copying and pasting. You are welcome to copy and paste from everywhere except other students in class. And of course, if you do it off the web, please cite it. You make a lot fewer errors if you copy and paste, right? Okay, so there we go. Now, what's missing? Yes, I'm sure that you are sitting there going, wait, stop, Jim, you forgot to add comments. Yep, we should have inline comments here. Dice, whoops, first die, second die. Again, copying and pasting. And you might put a note here, like, that looks kind of weird. Use 6.999 to get the same number of 6s as other values, but never get 7. Okay, because that's kind of weird. So that would be the kind of thing you want to use. And then we can also do a total. Dice 1 plus dice 2 and print our total. Okay, now we're really interested in the total. We're not as interested in those other numbers. Might be, but we can go ahead and comment those out. And this is pretty common where I'll put in a lot of print statements that do calculations and things that show me where I'm going as I go through my code, and then I'll comment them out. But I'll leave them in because you never know when you have a problem, you might want to go back to them.